What exactly is the messy middle? It's the transformation phase where you get out of client delivery and grow your business with a lean team. If you're a marketer, consultant, or creative who turns your skill and expertise into a service based business, odds are you started your business for more opportunities and freedom. But as you try to scale your business from just you to 3, 5, or 20, you unknowingly or knowingly hold on to freelancer and solopreneur habits that no longer serve your direction and you end up overwhelmed. I coined this phase of business growth the messy middle. It's a pivotal phase where you get out of client delivery and build your agency. Tune into this episode and find out how to navigate through the messy middle and come out stronger. Welcome to the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you're a marketer, a consultant, or a creative who's on the journey of growing from solopreneur to agency owner, follow along because I pull back the curtains on the realities of growing and running a scalable service-based business and building a lean team. I'm your host, Audrey Joy Kwan. I know what it takes to build an agency. Whether it's from solo to 3, 5, or 20, I've done it, including supporting an agency owner to sell and exit. I've coached and consulted over 120 marketers, creatives, and consultants, and I've been behind the scenes of 7-figure businesses. I also have a master's degree in communications specializing in organizational development. All this to say, I know what it takes to grow, lead, and operate a multiple 6- and 7-figure small but mighty agency. And here on this podcast is where we'll dive right in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. We're talking about the messy middle today for service-based business owners. Now, what is the messy middle? Well, the messy middle is the transition from freelancer or solopreneur to scaling your business with a lean team. If the years have shown me a common denominator working with business owners who started as freelancers and solopreneurs, it's this. You start your business for more opportunities and freedom and find yourself overwhelmed by the business you created. Welcome to what I call the messy middle of building your agency. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I work with service-based business owners who start their business with a skill they're really good at or knowledge that they gain from experience. You might resonate with this if you started your business with a marketing skill set like copywriting, or a creative skill set like graphic design, or a consulting skill set that you earned through years of experience and education. I am a hybrid. I fall into 2 categories. Before I started my business almost 10 years ago, I did marketing communications for marketing agencies and grew into leadership positions with corporate experience and then got a master's degree before I started my business of helping agencies scale. So I know what it's like to bootstrap a business with a skill set and grow it by being good at what I do. Now, you will hit the messy middle when you're good at what you do. The first sign is that you hit capacity and can't take on any more clients without feeling stretched thin, but you still want to grow. The challenge is that your business, as it is right now, is tapped out because guess what? You're tapped out. I see this more often than not. It's not that you don't love the impact you make in the business anymore, but things you don't enjoy doing in your business are dragging down the rest of your energy. The best way forward is to remove those things. But I see business owners create more busy work by focusing on the wrong things at this season of their business. I call it the messy middle because you're not at the start where you're trying to figure out what sells. What you sell is validated, but you don't have the capacity to grow the business and you're the bottleneck. It's the messy middle because to get to the place in your business where you can step out of the day to day that you're in right now, you got to shift how you are doing things. But that shift can feel messy because you got to trim and restructure things. You need to trim things that worked for you as a freelancer or solopreneur, but now are like brick walls. You try to drag a brick wall, you're not going to get very far and you're going to get very tired very fast. And I get it. There can be emotions tied to trimming clients and service offerings that aren't the right fit for where you want to go. And even more difficult, releasing people in your business that are not the right fit anymore. Of course, letting go of familiar things leads to uncertainty. That's the messy middle, and you're not alone. when you let go of clients who are not the right fit anymore, when you decide to stop a service offering because it doesn't fit into the vision, it feels like you're going backwards. So instead, you try to hang on to those clients or that service offering while adding more to your plate. If you're anything like the business owners I work with, you've got incredible bandwidth. Even if you don't think so, you do. And you still want to take it all on at the same time. And all that adding and not subtracting leaves you zero white space. At this stage of business, releasing clients and releasing service offerings that are not aligned gives you back time to focus on making the business scalable. I want you to consider this as you go through the messy middle to grow your business. Consider that you're the arrow in the archer's bow. If you've done archery, you know that the arrow's power comes from pulling back so that when it's released from the bow, the arrow is flying forward with more ease and more momentum. You're the arrow in the archer's bow. When you trim clients and service offerings, you might see a temporary stall in revenue growth. But when it's strategic and the stall is for a specific purpose, like pruning a tree to bear more fruit, it's not a stall. It's an investment in building a business that can get you out of service delivery and get you back more time. If you want to grow a service based business where you don't stay stuck in self employment, you need to take off the freelancer or solopreneur hat and put on the agency owner hat. Here are some of the habits to move away from to get you thinking with the agency owner hat. I see this a lot. You have ad hoc processes sprinkled into your business, but you don't have a system. A few processes for admin, a few processes for marketing, and random processes for client delivery don't make your business scalable. Knowing your system and how to structure a system into playbooks, in other words, organizational thinking, is how you get back more time. If you're curious about how to structure a client delivery system, get my free blueprint at audreyjoyquan.com/delivery system blueprint.com or click on the show notes below. Now, are you still billing hourly? If yes, it's time to rethink it. Your clients need to understand the value your service brings and know that they are paying for results, not the hours. Your value is communicated through a clear and well written scope. A well written scope communicates why they need to hire you and protects you from scope creep. Okay, I hear what you're thinking. What if a client asked for my hourly? I'm not against providing estimated hours in scopes because it can protect you from scope creep, but pricing is not based on the hours. In my consulting business, we do not do hourly. When asked for hourly, we estimate the hours per each stage of the work that needs to be done, provide a total project fee, and clearly state that the estimation of hours offers context for the scope and doesn't change the project based fee. Here's another challenge I see show up when you're in the messy middle. You have anchor clients in your business that have been with you the longest, and they treat you like an employee, but also make up a significant chunk of your revenue. As your business grows, you become more frustrated with the anchor client because they seem to demand a lot of your time, and you don't think they will be able to work with anybody else you bring into your team. Now, I'm all for trimming, but not for the sake of being strategic. If this client is in the range of 50% or more of your revenue, before you trim, you need to look at your pipeline and diversify your client base just to reduce that dependency. If an anchor client is 40% or less of your revenue, before you call it cold turkey and trim the client, do the work of identifying a clear scope that you can continue to help them deliver. The scope needs to communicate the boundaries of how it will be delivered. For the things your business can no longer take on, share a plan to fill the gap. It could be you helping them source a part time person while your business takes on the higher level activities. This action puts the control back in your court. It minimizes the impact of revenue loss and builds your relationship with the client because you showed up as a partner. You showed up as a partner, I'll say that again, by problem solving the gap while asking for what you want. And before we wrap up, there's something else I've seen in the messy middle for service based business owners. It's learning leadership. Nobody is born a leader. Leadership is a learned concept. I moderated a panel this year during Vancouver Startup Week. For context, I live in Vancouver, Canada. Our panel featured 5 entrepreneurs who bootstrapped their businesses and now have teams they lead. Rather than ask what they learned from stepping into leadership, I wanted to know what they had to unlearn to become better leaders. Each spoke of habits that they had at earlier stages of their business that they had to move past. The point is, nobody is a perfect leader, so don't let that stop you. So here's the summary. Are there difficult decisions to make in the messy middle? Absolutely. Are there strategic ways to make that decision? 100%. And will you gain different skills to step back to do more of what you love? Yes, and yes. There is a messy middle from being a freelancer or solopreneur to having a lean team and growing an agency. In fact, there are messy middles growing all business models. Don't stay stuck in the messy middle. On the other side is a business leveraged with strategic decisions, systems, processes, and leadership. You didn't build your business to let the messy middle stop you. In fact, the messy middle, if you think about it differently, is an achievement because not everyone gets here. If you don't want to get stuck in the messy middle, I'm here for it. If you want to grow with a lean team and break that ceiling without wasting time, I'm here. And remember, just because you've proven that you can learn how to bootstrap and do things yourself does not mean that should be your go-to habit for figuring out your structure, processes, and workflow. You know where to find me. Click the link in the show notes. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Hey there, thanks for hanging out with me at the Small But Mighty Agency podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the follow or subscribe button in your podcast app and share it with a friend. I'll see you on the next one.